Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're buckling up for a look at a pretty massive technological milestone. We're talking about the introduction of a fully electric version of an SUV that really fundamentally transformed its parent company 2 decades ago. A true global success story.
That's exactly right. Our sources are covering the technical rollout of the new electric Cayenne. And, Porsche themselves are calling this the beginning of a whole new era.
So this isn't just a simple EV conversion then?
No, not at all. This isn't about meeting compliance targets. They're positioning this as the most powerful production Porsche ever created. Full stop.
Okay, let's unpack that. So we're moving from a hugely successful combustion model launched way back in 2002 straight into this all-electric high-performance flagship. Our mission here is to really extract the genuinely astonishing power figures, analyze the innovative charging and energy recovery, and then explore how the new interior redefines things.
And what's really fascinating here is how they've managed to bridge that gap between a high-utility SUV and a true sports car.
Huh.
So much of the underlying tech, the control systems, have been pulled directly from their motorsport programs, specifically Formula E.
Formula E, okay.
Yeah, to create a vehicle that can perform like a hypercar but still maintains, practical real-world usability.
Okay, this is where the numbers start to feel, wow, a little bit unbelievable. And I have to confess, I am completely fascinated by the idea of an SUV with these kinds of physics-defying stats. It's like they just decided to make a statement that, electric torque wins all the arguments.
Well, it certainly makes a strong case.
So we have two models at launch, the Cayenne Electric and then the range-topping Cayenne Turbo Electric.
And the focus really has to be on that turbo variant. When you get the launch control activated, the peak output is up to an astonishing 850 kilowatts,
850.
which translates to a massive 1,156 PS and 1,500 Newton meters of torque. It's just a staggering amount of power.
That amount of power in an SUV it's almost impossible to grasp. What does that mean in real-world performance?
It means 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in a blistering 2.5 seconds.
2.5 seconds.
Yeah. I mean, for context, we're looking at acceleration figures that used to be exclusive to things like the Bugatti Veyron.
In an SUV.
In an SUV. And the significance here isn't just the raw speed, right? It's showing that the SUV form factor, which used to be limited by its weight and center of gravity, is just not constrained by that anymore. Not with an electric architecture.
That acceleration is just mind-boggling. But, okay, what about the standard Cayenne Electric, the one for, everyday drivers? What does that model offer?
The entry level is certainly more restrained, but it still offers some serious output. You're looking at 300 kilowatts or 408 PS in normal operation.
Which is still a lot.
It is, and that goes up to 325 kilowatts with launch control, hitting 100 kilometers per hour in a very swift 4.8 seconds. That's faster than a lot of high-performance sports sedans from just a few years ago.
The sources kept mentioning a push-to-pass function, which honestly sounds like something ripped right out of a video game. How does that actually work in an SUV?
It is a direct nod to Formula E and track strategy. You press a button, and the system gives the driver an extra 130 kilowatts, or about 176 PS, for 10 seconds.
10 seconds. So for like a quick overtake on the highway.
Exactly. For those quick, decisive, high-speed moves, merging onto a freeway, getting past a truck, it's instant power on demand.
But delivering that kind of power spike again and again must put enormous thermal stress on the motors. How have they engineered it to be continuous, especially in such a heavy vehicle?
That's where a critical piece of motorsport tech comes in. Direct oil cooling of the electric motor on the rear axle.
Oil cooling, okay.
Yeah, unlike simpler systems that might just use air or water jackets, this highly targeted oil cooling system just immediately pulls heat away from the motor windings. This makes sure the motor can maintain that high continuous output, especially in the turbo.
Okay, let's shift focus a bit. From the raw power to the logistics of fueling it. Because if you have this blistering performance, the entire charging and energy system had to be completely rethought to support it.
Precisely. You can't deliver supercar performance without a really serious, high-capacity and thermally stable battery system.
So let's talk about that battery. What are both models drawing power from, and what kind of range are we actually looking at?
Both models use a newly developed, very high-density 113 kilowatt high-voltage battery. And crucially, this pack has double-sided cooling.
And the range?
The WLTP range is impressive. Up to 642 kilometers for the standard Cayenne Electric, and still up to 623 kilometers for the Turbo.
That's a highly competitive range, but charging speed. That's absolutely critical for the kind of long-distance comfort you expect from a luxury SUV. What makes this system stand out?
The key is the underlying architecture. The Cayenne uses 800-volt technology. Now, for anyone who might not be familiar, running at 800 volts instead of the more standard 400 volts lets the car draw the same power using half the current.
Less current means less heat, right?
Exactly. Less resistance, less heat, faster charging, and you can even use thinner, lighter cables. It's a win all around.
And what does that mean in practical charging times?
Thanks to that 800-volt system, the Cayenne can support DC, charging up to 390 kilowatts, maybe even 400 kilowatters under perfect conditions.
So from 10 to 80%. How long?
Less than 16 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, to put a real-world number on it, the sources note you can add 325 kilometers of range to the standard model in just 10 minutes.
That is industry-leading speed. But what about the convenience stuff? I was fascinated by the idea of removing the daily chore of, plugging in a high-performance SUV.
This is a major highlight and a first for the brand. Optional inductive charging.
So wireless charging.
Basically, yes. The technology lets you just park the vehicle directly over a floor plate, and charging starts automatically at a pretty useful speed of up to 11 kilowatters. It just removes all the friction from daily charging.
And that efficiency, it extends beyond just charging, too. The energy recuperation figures are, well, they're pretty noteworthy.
That's right. The system achieves Formula E levels of energy recovery. It can reach a maximum of up to 600 kilowatts of recuperative power.
600 kilowatts going back into the battery.
Yeah, and that has huge implications. In everyday driving, the electric motors handle about 97% of all braking. The mechanical brakes rarely even need to intervene, which drastically reduces wear and tear.
So that means one-pedal driving is a real option.
Absolutely. High level of one-pedal driving comfort if you want it.
Okay, let's move past the power and look at the physical car. How has the design and the utility changed to accommodate the battery and, well, this new electric era?
The new Cayenne is noticeably larger. It's about 55 millimeters longer than its predecessor. But more importantly, the wheelbase, the distance between the front and rear axles, has increased by nearly 13 centimeters.
13 centimeters, that's a massive increase. What's the main benefit of that?
That translates directly to significantly more rear legroom and passenger comfort, which is essential for a luxury SUV. But then you have the practical utility.
Right, the hauling figures.
Luggage capacity is between 781 and nearly 1,600 liters, with the seats folded. Plus, because there's no big V8 up front anymore, you get a really useful 90-liter front luggage compartment, a frunk.
And it can still tow.
Oh yeah. It maintains a robust towing capacity of up to 3.5 tons.
So we've got a large, heavy vehicle with enormous power and a long wheelbase. How does it possibly handle all that bulk while staying efficient enough for a 600-kilometer range?
A lot of it comes down to aerodynamics. The drag coefficient is an impressive 0.25, making it one of the most aerodynamic SUVs in its class.
And they achieve that with Active Aero.
Correct. The Porsche Active Aerodynamic System, or PAA, it coordinates a bunch of moving parts, movable cooling flaps in the nose, an adaptive roof spoiler, and crucially on the turbo model, you get these innovative active aero blades at the rear.
Aeroblades.
Yeah, they extend and retract to optimize airflow, which helps with both downforce and range, especially at higher speeds.
And the chassis, this is a critical question. With the weight of that huge battery, how does the suspension system cope with high-speed cornering?
That's the innovation that truly stands out. Adaptive air suspension is standard, which is great, but the flagship turbo model introduces Porsche Active Ride.
Okay, what is that?
It's a highly sophisticated active suspension system. It uses these fast-acting actuators to control the vertical movements of the body, and it almost completely compensates for body movements during braking, cornering, and acceleration.
So if you hit the brakes hard, the nose doesn't dive, and in a sharp corner, the body stays flat.
Exactly. It ensures this incredible stability and comfort at the same time. The system can even do these rapid little lifting actions to absorb road bumps before they even hit the cabin. It's a huge engineering achievement.
That technical prowess is impressive. Let's bring it inside the car, though. What does all this mean for the driver and passengers? The interior tech seems to have taken a giant leap forward.
It truly has. It's being described as redefining the interior experience. The Cayenne Electric now has the largest continuous display area ever found in a Porsche. It's a fundamental shift to a digital cockpit.
So tell me about these screens.
Well, the whole cockpit is dominated by three main displays. The centerpiece is the Flow display, this elegantly curved OLED panel. Then you've got a 14.25-inch digital instrument cluster for the driver and a massive 14.9-inch optional passenger display.
A passenger display that big? That brings up questions of driver distraction. What can the passenger actually do with it?
They can stream video content, manage navigation, act as a co-pilot. But importantly, a special foil on that screen makes sure the driver can't see the content, so it minimizes distraction.
And that's before we even get to the augmented reality.
Right. For the first time, a head-up display with AR technology is available. And this isn't just some small projection. It visually represents an 87-inch screen projected 10 meters ahead of the car.
That sounds like science fiction.
It overlays navigation arrows or driver assistance warnings directly onto the road ahead of you. It's incredibly immersive.
Beyond just screens, what are the new comfort highlights?
Individuality and luxury were clearly the focus. They introduced these mood modes, which transform the interior by adapting the lighting, the seating, climate, sound profiles, everything based on the program you choose.
That sounds more comprehensive than just standard ambient lighting.
It is. And another highlight is the new panel heating system. It warms not just the seats, but also large contact areas like the armrests and door panels. It makes a huge difference in cold weather.
So this deep dive, it clearly shows that Porsche is really accelerating its electrification strategy. They're moving their most successful model straight into a new flagship category.
Exactly. The chairman of the executive board even noted that the Cayenne Electric shows performance in a completely new dimension. Yet the sources also make it clear that their long-term strategy is still flexible.
Right, they mentioned the trio of powertrains.
Yes, sales and marketing confirms they'll keep offering electric, combustion, and hybrid options well into the next decade, so customers will still have a choice.
So what does this all mean then? The performance is at supercar levels, the utility is better than ever, and the charging capabilities are industry-leading. This car really defines what the SUV segment is capable of now.
And that raises an important question for you to consider. With features like inductive charging and this incredible active suspension system technology engineered to manage massive power and weight, how quickly will this high-end functionality trickle down into more mainstream mass-market SUVs in the next 5 years? How will it change what we all expect from an everyday family vehicle?
A great thought to mull over as we wrap up. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the technical marvel that is the electric Cayenne. Please follow the channel to make sure you catch the next deep dive into cutting-edge information. We are so grateful for your time and curiosity.